sustainability, as you saying, climate risk and insurance. Lots of ground to be covered in this, and I think as a journalist, having seen that there is talk of elections, talk in terms of priorities for leaders, talk in terms of what really should matter, whether we should be looking in terms of budget for climate, or whether we should be looking at sustainability in terms of housing costs, or whether migration should be an issue. Priorities keep changing, but this is an inescapable zone. We have to think in terms of what we do on sustainability. So to keep the format would be essentially, Mr. Mukund Rajan will be sharing some initial thoughts, and then afterwards we will have a dialogue. Now at the moment it looks like a trialogue, but I will silence myself. The journalists it's very difficult to make them to sit quiet, but then I'll do that my very best there. So Mr. Mukund Rajan, if you can perhaps begin with your thoughts, and then thanks.
Thank you, Kumar. And good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here at this Financial Express Insurance Summit. Very much looking forward to the trialogue with Ms. Sengupta and Kumar as well. So I thought I might start by first outlining, maybe over the next 10 minutes, the sustainability and climate-linked transition that Indian businesses are undergoing, because I think that will sort of establish the basis for a lot of the commentary that would follow on how insurance can support or address some of these challenges that Indian business is facing. And quite honestly, I think the reason this transition is so important now is it's actually very similar to the digital transition that we experienced 2 decades back, and that is still unfolding. And I think sustainability and the climate transition over the next 2 decades will disrupt business, drive growth, and reward those who are thinking ahead of the curve. And I'm sure we're going to hear some very interesting ideas on how insurance companies are preparing for all of this. Now, we all know that the last year, 2024, was the warmest year in recorded history. And it's evident that global warming and the heightened frequency of extreme climatic events are stoking anxiety across the world, from homeowners watching their properties go up in smoke in forest fires in California to flood-affected communities all across our country. By influencing a range of economic metrics, from labor productivity to crop production to inflation and more, global warming is really impacting a variety of risks, including market risk, credit risk, operational risk, and liquidity risk. And this is really what is catalyzing a string of net zero carbon emission commitments by many enterprises across the world and here in India. And this is also the reason, by the way, that many insurers around the world, adversely impacted by rising claims generated by loss and damage caused by extreme climatic events, are actually now pulling back on their willingness to insure carbon-heavy fossil fuel sectors like coal. So a variety of domestic stakeholders in India are picking up on all of this and driving Indian businesses to really up their game on sustainability and climate performance. So for instance, we've seen this with civil society. In fact, ongoing, I think almost every day in the newspapers you read about air pollution in the National Capital Region. But this activism of civil society, the judiciary, the media, has led to important business outcomes. One, for instance, was the Supreme Court order for the auto industry in 2018 to migrate from BS4 to higher and cleaner BS6 fuel emission norms, bypassing the intermediate BS5 stage altogether. So we've seen the government step in, both national and state governments, enacting legislation, defining policies, issuing new rules to tackle climate change. As we know, these span areas such as the promotion of renewable energy, the electrification of the transport fleet, extended producer responsibility in sectors like plastics and electronics, and the adoption of fairly significant targets by the central government under the Paris Climate Treaty. So these targets include 2070 as a target date for India to achieve net zero status. But more importantly, in the shorter term, the promise to generate 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel-based energy by 2030, with 50% of the energy mix coming from renewables by the same year, all while improving the energy efficiency of the economy by 45% over 2005 levels. And India is also showcasing its commitment to being a global statesman in finding a resolution for climate change. So we are in fact anchoring the work of the International Solar Alliance and the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Parallelly to these actions of the government, you're seeing strong support coming from industry regulators. So SEBI has mandated the top 1,000 listed companies in India to produce the business responsibility and sustainability reports, which need to be assured or assessed by third parties, and whose scope extends to value chain partners. And stronger disclosures arising from the BRSRs, combined with the operation of the stewardship codes, defined in fact by all three regulators, SEBI, the IRDAI, and the PFRDA, really today equip custodians of public funds. So you're thinking about mutual funds, insurance companies, pension funds, asset management companies, alternative investment funds. All of them can now press for faster and pro-climate change within the business community. The RBI has parallelly started pressing banks and lending institutions to incorporate an assessment of both physical and transition risks across a range of climate change scenarios, and really to determine the resilience to financial losses. Last year in its report on currency and finance, the RBI recognized climate change as a huge threat to financial stability. It noted that extreme weather events could reduce India's GDP by 2 to 6% annually by 2030, and estimated that a delayed climate transition could raise financing costs by as much as 20% for Indian companies exposed to climate risks. And so for risk mitigation, the RBI wants banks and lenders to adopt steps like reducing the tenor of loans to customers who may face higher climate risks, persuading them to embrace clean energy transition strategies, and importantly, for today's summit, to take on insurance against extreme weather. So what you're seeing with all these pressure points, civil society, government, regulator, Indian businesses are being forced to respond, and most Indian companies are in fact now committing to do the right thing. And this is the reason the number of Indian companies rated A or higher on their ESG ratings by MSCI, for instance, has increased from 23% of the pool to 32% of a much larger pool over the last 5-year period. Let me quickly just touch upon what these companies are doing in order to get this higher rating. I think first and foremost, they're all putting in place the right governance structures. Most companies are now assigning responsibility within the senior management team for sustainability, and the role of Chief Sustainability Officer is becoming quite common. At the level of the board of directors, market leaders like Infosys, Airtel, Tata Steel have all created ESG or sustainability committees of their boards. Next, we see a significant focus within forward-looking companies on resource use efficiency and circular economy practices. Many of these are no-regrets measures that require actually little by way of capital investment. So investments in energy efficiency improvement, for instance, have high returns on investment and pay for themselves quite swiftly. We also see these companies embracing the supply chains in their progressive actions. They recognize that the micro, small, and medium enterprises, the MSMEs, that form a significant part of the supply chain today, account for as much as 40% of the actual resource consumption, and therefore impacts like climate impact that take place within the Indian economy. So these companies are now innovating. They're pivoting the business models on occasion to find competitive advantage. A pivotal moment, for instance, in leading Indian energy producer, Tata Power's strategy for growth, came when it found its stock being offloaded by a major investor, Norges Bank, in 2016, in the wake of the latter's portfolio decarbonization initiative. And it's as a result of that event that Tata Power then pivoted away from coal-fired thermal power to renewable energy, both through organic and inorganic expansion. And now we see innovation in a range of sustainability-friendly areas in India. So think of green hydrogen, high-efficiency materials, battery technology, biomass to energy, water and energy efficient agriculture, robots and drones for better safety and managing high-risk operations, wearable sensors to monitor worker health and heat stress and fatigue, carbon credits trading, and the list goes on. We also see with the more forward-looking companies that on issues like carbon emission reduction, increasing their linking performance on material issues to executive compensation. So what gets measured gets improved, and really linking senior executive compensation to sustainability outcomes is now forcing the pace of change. And of course, integral to the link with compensation is a strong focus on measurement, tracking sustainability performance, and making transparent disclosures. So to sum up on what Indian businesses are doing, at least the forward-looking ones, they're understanding that climate and sustainability indicators are becoming an important measure of their performance. They're architecting strategies that span the material factors impacting their businesses. They're putting in place the right governance, linking performance incentives to sustainability outcomes. They're transparently engaging with their stakeholders and taking feedback for further improvement. And they're avoiding any kind of misrepresentation that could tantamount to what we all understand as greenwashing. And really, these actions are delivering value to stakeholders. So if you look at, for instance, the MSCI India ESG Leaders Index, there's been fairly consistent outperformance over the last decade and a half from the time the index was created when you compare it with the broader benchmark index. So the leaders are typically performing better in the public markets. But these are also the companies that are able to access more diverse pools of finance, including sustainable finance via instruments like green bonds. These are the companies that are now benefiting from many of the government's new schemes, subsidies, and PLI, and so on. And investors are seeing that by backing better sustainability performing stocks, on the one hand, the risks are reducing, but also these are the same companies that are better able to take advantage of emerging new opportunities. And so it should come as no surprise that some of the recent flotations of green equities have done rather well. So that's the broad landscape that I wanted to paint. I think you could decide if the glass is half full or half empty, but a lot is happening on the ground. Companies are gearing up. And I think now over the next 20 minutes, it'll be great to understand from Ms. Sengupta how the insurance industry and New India Assurance are really picking up this challenge, how are they helping, but also finding solutions for some of these challenges that Indian business typically, and of course we'll get into other stakeholder groups, how they're dealing with these. So maybe I'll come over there, and Kumar, feel free if you want to kick off the first question and then we take it.
No, I think it's, you could, Ms. Kasturi, you could actually begin by your response to what you've heard thus far.
So maybe you could start, Ms. Sengupta, by illustrating really how insurance companies are viewing the risks embedded in climate change, and also is that not just a problem but also opportunity for the more forward-looking ones, how they're tackling it.
Yes. So right now the insurance companies, all the insurance companies, they are the general insurance ones, they are viewing this climate change and the effects that this climate change is having on the subcontinent of India in a very positive way, because we are working towards the financial resilience that this covers will give. Now, how do I illustrate this? See, normal parlance, insurance, it works in two ways. Either it is a reimbursement policy, that is somebody's motor guard gets washed away, somebody's building catches fire, somebody's marine, some transit, some consignment is coming from abroad, so that gets actually destroyed. So what we do, we actually make good a loss so that no one makes a profit out of it. But the climate risk, we are doing it in a totally different way, which is known as the parametric. Now, why this name parametric? It derives from the word parameter. So parameter is a particular figure. If that is breached, means a certain trigger happens that that particular parameter is breached, immediately the insurance claim will be paid. This is much different from the normal traditional insurance things that we have, be it health, be it burglary insurance, be it the building insurance, the factory insurance, marine insurance, motor car insurance, any insurance, this is a totally different type of insurance. Why this is so? You talk of climate, there may be many parameters. It may be rainfall, it may be cyclone, it may be earthquake, it may be the humidity ratio, it may be the wind speed, it may be the cyclone, it may be the landslide. Anything can be a parameter here which is related to the climate. And then know if that parameter is breached. What do I mean by the breach of the parameter? Suppose in the state of Assam, a parametric insurance cover is given. There will be two parameters there. One is the riverine flood and another one will be the torrential rain. In Kochi, what will be the thing? It will be the cyclone. In Tamil Nadu also cyclone, excessive rain like that. Bombay, it will be the rain, especially in the months of June to before the Ganpati, means the 3-4 months. In West Bengal, it will be different. In the north of West Bengal, that is in the Darjeeling, that area, it will be total cold wave. And in the south, it will be again the cyclone, the Bay of Bengal storms and other things. So the parameter is decided upon the trigger, the trigger is decided on the parameter. For example, if the rain in Bombay, it exceeds say 120 millimeter for 3-4 hours on a particular day, then irrespective of whether a person has lost something or not, the claim will be paid. Suppose in Rajasthan, the temperature increases 50 degrees centigrade, then immediately the daily laborers, they cannot go in for work. So because of this heat wave, a particular amount will be paid. So here the beauty is that here we do not assess the loss. There is one parameter and the trigger is based on what is the propensity of that particular parameter, whether the flood level, it has increased a certain amount, whether because of the riverine flood, the normal property, be it land or anything that is lost, if the river crosses a certain millimeter of height. If because of the cyclone, the fishermen cannot go out for work, the different parameters it can be chosen. The trigger is usually chosen on last 20 years of data, and it is for the insured who is taking the policy to decide what will be the parameters. I will also elaborate with some examples after I go ahead a little bit. So once it is breached, immediately the amount is paid. It is irrespective of the person loses something or not. If suppose this particular area, Goregaon, comes under a parametric insurance, if here the rainfall exceeds say 150 millimeter for 2-3 days, the days and all these parameters are chosen depending on what is the requirement of that particular client. If in Goregaon area during the rainy season, say for a particular 2-3 days, there is incessant rain and the total rainfall is more than 150 millimeter, all the residents in this area maybe will get 10,000 rupees. And it is so digitally covered that digitally these things are managed. So the moment this trigger happens, no question asked, depending on this agreed value, it immediately goes to the beneficiaries. So this parametric insurance is picking up in a very big way, and the challenges that we are facing for the last 5 years related to the climate, there has been the GLOF, that is the cloudburst and all in the Sikkim area. There has been incessant cyclones. There has been excessive rainfall in the Uttarakhand area, in the Rajasthan, Punjab this year. So there has been excessive heat in the Gujarat area. So all these are being covered and can be covered by this parametric insurance, where there is no surveyor appointed, no loss assessment, no depreciation done, no salvage. Means these are the terms all of you must be knowing because all of you have the motor car insurance at least. There are no terms and conditions per se what you have pre-existing in health insurance. The sublimits in health insurance, all of you must be having the Mediclaim because these two are the compulsory ones people usually have. So no question asked. The moment that parameter, say rainfall, cyclone, wind speed, whatever, that is breached and the trigger that is set, that is overcome, immediately the claim amount is paid, irrespective of whether that particular person has suffered any loss or not. So later on I'll elaborate with some examples so you'll know how these things are.
Actually, could you? Because what's going through my mind is, one, how widespread is this kind of insurance today? One keeps reading about Self-Employed Women's Association and parametric insurance for some of the women. But is it relevant for communities? Is it relevant for livelihoods, businesses? Yes. Up to what level can you stretch it, and what is already in play in India today?
Yes, that's a very interesting question, and I will like to answer this with real life examples. So that will also help you to understand how we are utilizing this parametric. For example, we have issued a policy, when you talk of community, to the community of the fishermen. So post-tsunami, the cyclones come in, Tamil Nadu, Kochi, that area, Andhra Pradesh belt and all. So we have covered all the fishermen. If they cannot go out, if there is a cyclone alert, or if the wind speed is high, or the sea is soaring, if they cannot go out for days together, then the daily wages that they earn, because most of the fishermen are daily wage earners and the people working in the coastal area. So if it crosses a certain limit, suppose the wind speed we mentioned in the Beaufort scale, the earthquake in the Richter scale. So like that, no, immediately if it breaches a certain amount, the compensation is paid. So we have covered as a community the local fishermen in the coastal areas of Tamil Nadu, Kochi and Andhra Pradesh. Then we have covered in the Maharashtra, that Solapur area, there was a poultry farm. So they wanted to know, they wanted to have a cover if there the heat, it crosses a certain amount, the degree centigrade, then what happens, they have seen that the egg laying, that layer of the hen in the poultry, they stop laying eggs, or the quality of the eggs becomes bad. Many of the chicks, they also die due to that heat. So that becomes a trigger there, that if the temperature crosses a certain amount in that particular poultry and the adjoining poultries in that particular Sholapur area, then irrespective of whether the egg laying has been, the egg production has been less, the quality has been bad, or whether the chicken have died or not, immediate compensation will be paid. Another example, there is a particular plant from which now aviation fuel is built. So one of that plantation owners, they have taken a cover that because of the heat, if the production is not there and they cannot supply for the aviation fuel, then immediately the claim will be paid. We have also issued policies to the renewable energy people, for example, to the wind energy and the solar energy, that because of less heat during the rainy season, if the solar irradiation is not that much, to give a certain level of production, because they have a minimum production unit, because they supply to the grid, and the distribution is also dependent on how much supply they are providing. So if because of excessive rain and the lesser solar irradiation, the energy production is not there, then also this trigger will be breached and then claim will be paid. And so much so, when such a one policy was issued, the word of mouth went on, and then we have now issued for 62 solar plants for one particular client, and they have taken a long 5-year policy. They said every year we don't want to renew it, so let us take a 5-year policy. So slowly the understanding is also going on increasing. There is a self-help group, as you said, called SEWA, ACWA. So they have taken a parametric policy that if the woman, they cannot go out for work because of the heat wave, then immediately this will be paid. And we have paid claims also. That is also what I want to say, that claims also has been paid, because if there is a breach, that the temperature raises a certain amount, the certain degree centigrade, immediately without asking any question whether that particular lady has gone out for work or not, immediately they will get the money. So this is how the parametric insurance is working. So right now, many companies have come up, and New India is also there. We are one of the ones we have come out with a product. So actually, it's not only the agricultural produce, because people usually think that the crop destruction and all. Because of the rains, because of the storm, because of other things, the livelihood is not there. The loan protection cover also we give, that because the soil is lost, because of the rains, excessive rain, flood, inundation and all. So the farmers, they have taken a loan against, for a certain production of a certain wheat, rice or anything. So the rural loan protect cover is also there if because of this parametric thing, because of onset of any of this flood or any of these calamities. So that is, in the first I said that it is giving a financial resilience. That is, if it had been a normal product, normal traditional insurance, then we would have to appoint a surveyor, then assessment of the loss, then the salvage, depreciation, under insurance, all these things comes in. Here there is no question. It's an agreed value, the breach of the trigger, immediate money comes.
So the big question is the data to justify the parameter and the level set. As you mentioned, for instance, there may be years when the temperature does go up, but in the poultry farm, for instance, it doesn't necessarily impact productivity. How much confidence do you have that the insurance industry has access to the right data sets and that the right correlations are in place, or does an ecosystem need to develop around that to support it?
Yeah. It's another very good question, because this will throw a lot of insight in how these parametric products are being devised. So actually, no, each insurance company is doing a partnership with each insurance company with some technological company. So these insurtech firms that have come up, they actually do the tie-up, because this data is taken from either IMD, that is the Indian Meteorological Divisions, or from the Central Water Board, that is the CWB, for the soil erosion, the soil quality, the soil moisture, because when a flood loss happens, no, the loss is not actually assessed, it is assessed with the flood level, but also to assess the loss, we need to know how much vegetative degrowth has been there, how much the soil erosion has happened, how much the soil moisture content is there. So all these things are taken care of by a certain, certain app that is available. It is known as the Sentinel. So from there, no, this soil, it's actually an acronym of some soil erosion and something, Sentinel. So from there this comes. So these people, the insurtech companies, they are in touch with all this INSAT and other data, the data that come from all the satellites, the IMD data, and the insurance, what I was calling the Sentinel data, and the Central Waterway Board. So depending on the parameters, no, last 20 years data they get through the subscriptions they have, and they do an analysis of what has been the highest point, the lowest point, then they arrive at the median, and then how much losses has been made. So with that, no, they arrive at the figure, how much will be the per beneficiary or per capita, how much will be the loss that will be paid. So it's totally dependent, it's totally digitized and totally dependent on last 20 years data.
But given that the product is a new one, are you sort of seeing it evolve, and is the data now suggesting some of the tweaks you need to make?
Yes, we are doing, because I'll tell you, there is a authority known as the National Disaster Management Authority. So NDMA is now thinking of having a parametric product, because they are thinking that whenever any loss happens in any state, it is the SDMA who gets the fund, the State Disaster Management Authority. So now they are thinking that while all this fund, this takes a lot of time, because the state, they first know, district-wise they decide how much the loss has been. And because the spectrum across the country is very high, and across any state is also very high, because as I was talking of states like West Bengal, the northeastern states, all these, no, one end you see a cold weather, and the other end you see it's a riverine or a sea, and like that. So very few states, like the central states only, they have a sort of a uniform parameter. All the other states, if you see, Rajasthan also, one side there is huge cold, the cold desert and all, and the other side you see excessive heat. So we have a sort of a huge spectrum of these parameters that fluctuate. So NDMA, and if a loss happens, it becomes very difficult for NDMA and rather the SDMAs to decide upon how much beneficiary, how much each beneficiary or each block level they should get. So they are also in the process of thinking of a parametric product, especially for this natural catastrophe. We call it as NatCat, so that because this is immediate, and immediate there will be a financial loss recuperation. Immediately the family or the property that has been lost, they will get the compensation, not waiting actually to decide upon the block level destruction that has happened. So for this immediate compensation, the NDMA and the SDMAs, they are looking state-wise into some parametric solutions. So we are very hopeful that slowly, if NDMA, a big body like NDMA, SDMAs, they come in, so more research, more data analysis will happen, and we can really come up with some product which will be very innovative and evolving also, where actually the benefit of having a sort of a social responsibility also towards the citizen, that can happen.
Yeah, but this also seems to keep in mind that having in place early warning systems, it seems more like an auto mode where actually something happens and then there's a trigger.
Yeah.
How scalable, I mean, why isn't it so widespread? What is holding back?
Yeah, this is the first year, 2024-25, that the product has just come. And so few insurance companies have come up with that. I should say the awareness is yet to pick up. Although we are paying claims and people are still, see, insurance, the main factor is the trust. So what people feel that, okay, if I take the product, actually whether it will be payable or not, but slowly as now, no, claims are getting paid. This year only we have issued close to around 30 policies. We have started from May, and we have sold about 30 policies. Almost in 2 policies, we have given the claims have been given. So slowly as the awareness increases, people know that the product is there. And you talk of scalability, this can be designed for multiple parameters also. Not only for one parameter, a certain amount of the certain locality can have multiple parameters working on it. So those sorts of products are also being evolved. So I think slowly as the awareness increases and people see that yes, actually this is a little bit different from the normal traditional insurance that happens where people have to wait for the survey report to come, the loss to be assessed, the salvage to be decided. Immediately we get the benefit. I'm sure that this product will pick up. And this will really come as a very good resilient product for the economic growth also, because here you are getting immediate compensation of the money. Within 7 days it is paid. I mean 7 days is the largest duration, I should say. Within 2-3 days, because the trigger bridge, it's officially published, immediate the compensation is paid. So that is how it is devised.
Is this the trend? How do we have international examples of this? Though of course India, as she was mentioning a while ago, is so diverse that we really can't replicate a model. But how unique or different does it seem to you? To you also?
See, internationally, Japan does have a product because they are very prone to cyclone. But one advantage, I must say, that the overseas market has is the reinsurance support. So in India, we have a national insurer. You know, we have a national reinsurer, that is GIC. So right now, IRDA is also on a very innovative mode and a lot of regulations are also coming up. So IRDA has also opened up to the reinsurance market. So 2-3 new insurance companies are also coming up. But one thing I must tell you, Mr. Kumar, that the way why we cannot expand this is because we are not getting the sort of the financial support that also we need in the form of reinsurance right now. So we are talking to the foreign reinsurers only to have the reinsurance support right now. We are in talks with GIC, and we are very hopeful that our national reinsurer will also give us support, and that way other companies, other reinsurers are also coming up. And all of you are aware that there is a concept called the gift city that has come up in Ahmedabad, where we have lot of tax. It's a tax haven. We have lot of tax protections and all. So slowly we hope with the passage of the time, the more and more reinsurance support we get, the more and more we can distribute the liability amongst various, because that is also a risk transfer method that works. The more and more we can have that support, we can devise more new products, we can have more reach, and we can also provide with more compensation. The more financially strong we can have a support on these products, the more we can evolve, the more we can evolve. Indian? Private reinsurance companies?
We are not able to hear.
अभी जो बोल रहे हैं आप, Valuatics हुआ है, Valuatics, and number 2 is Alliance is coming up with Geo. So Geo Alliance is yet to come in, but Valuatics people
has already done. So other than GIC,
GIC. So Valuatics had come, but because that's a very new company, we spoke to them.
Go-digit company. Go-digit company.
Yeah,
Go-digit
group
company.
Say it's a digit company only.
Ex-Bajaj ke people ne start kiya.
Bajaj. Absolutely right you are.
I know personally all the
Yeah, that is one. So they are also in talks with us. So let us see, because
only 2 companies are there, ne? Only 2 companies are there.
Yeah.
Any more companies are?
No. Only these 2 are there, and Geo is coming up. So that way. But
you have started, I think so.
Yeah.
Not yet. But we are in the talks, but then the license part and all, we are not much aware.
Your thoughts, Mr.
No, I wanted to just ask actually about the BRICS formation, because one of the questions has been the kinds of the amount of capital available for reinsurance and also the pricing. And I know that New India has been part of these discussions at the BRICS Business Council, where there's been a suggestion that the Global South, in a sense, should get together and find mechanisms to reinsure, particularly in spaces like climate risk. Do you think that has legs to it? Are you sort of feeling confident that that is going to emerge as a good pool of...
The laws have to be a little bit modified, because I'll tell you, there is an order of preference. That is as per IRDA. Because whenever we go in for reinsurance, first we have to go to our national reinsurer, that is GIC. If they are unable, then we go to the foreign reinsurance companies, like the Munich Re, Swiss Re, all they have.
Correct.
And in fact, the schemes that we have now are all funded by the overseas reinsurer. Then we come to the cross-border reinsurer. And so now that ValueAtix, sir was talking about ValueAtix and that digit company, and if Geo also comes, then definitely there will be more competition and we can have more this thing. So this is global. Pardon? More and more are lined up. So more the market opens up, as it has happened in the insurance sector, more in the reinsurance sector also as it opens up, and if BRICS and this Global South consortium, that if that come out, definitely no, as for the funds flow is involved, that will be more funds flow, and definitely no more product and more towards the climate resilience product will come.
Excellent.
So hopeful for that.
I know we're running out of time, but one question I know is close to your heart. Applying a gender lens to all of this, how do you ensure that women are more included in these products and the solutions they offer? Would you like to dwell on that?
Yeah. That's again a very good question, because really that's very close to my heart. So see, now there is some scheme that goes on in India that is known as the ASHA, that is basically connected with the health scheme. So there are ASHA workers who go from home to home, and they actually tell about the goodness, the wellness schemes they do about the mother, child, pregnant woman and the elderly woman, like that. So ASHA workers are a very known people, a known sect who go inside and who can have that penetration also. So now we are thinking of involving the ASHA workers, of spreading this insurance knowledge across the country. Then there is a very new thing that is coming up, because now the government, they are giving loans to the women to become drone pilots. So these are known as the drone didis. So these drone didis also will now be involved in flying the drone, especially in the agriculture, in fertilizers and many other things. So,
Yeah.
yes. So we are thinking of using this drone didis roads also. So we are thinking of using this drone didis, that is a woman, for having the self-help groups. No, they also have exempt from the tax. So we are trying to include the self-help groups as the propagator of this insurance product, so that they can go for the household. They have that credibility also, so that people will listen and they will accept them. So we are trying to use them for the propagation of insurance.
May I have one question, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the main concern of the insuring public is the claim. Whatever service you give, when the claim comes, if it is not properly settled, the people are not satisfied.
Yeah.
And when you launch a new product, the taste of the product is when the claim comes.
Claim comes.
So main concern is claim.
Yes.
As you said that we have already, New India has already issued about 30 plus policies.
Yes.
Has any claim come, like, I mean?
Yeah. Already 2 policies, claims have come in, and we have immediately paid. So that
Okay.
is our, and
The claim,
to tell you frankly,
Yeah.
one is the heat wave. The heat actually, it crossed, the temperature is crossed a certain limit,
Okay.
and then we have paid to the people who have actually taken the thing. And it was with a very nominal premium we had taken, more as a social service, and then almost the total amount we had taken at premium, more than that has gone in the claim. But we still gave immediately we paid the claim. Within 2 days the claim was paid, because these are all digitized.
Okay.
And immediately it is paid. And if you know of the Ayushman Bharat scheme, that is for every person who is a beneficiary, it is given in that portal. So whenever the claim happens, directly the money goes into the account holder's bank account. So same thing is visualized here. This, immediately as the heat wave, because of the heat it crossed a certain temperature, immediately the beneficiaries, they got the amount. So we are now thinking of publicizing this claim payment, so that more and more people come up, they have the trust that yes, claims are being paid. Seva also claims are paid, because in Gujarat the temperature also rose up. So claims are immediate, they are instant, and no question asked. It's on the agreed value. So that is also we want to.
did the claim settlement go as easy as you said? Because what you said is unbelievable, like no surveyor appointed, no valuation to be done, no
this is
access,
happening.
nothing.
That
It's just
beauty
paid.
of the parametric product.
Okay, so
Here
it went
no
on very
question
well,
asked.
smooth.
It is bridge means the heat, and see, this is not a subject. This is official. No.
Okay.
The moment rain is more than certain millimeter, the moment it is all there in the newspaper, over the in the internet, everywhere it is there. It's not a thing. The private. It is not a private information per se. The moment it is bridge, immediately claim is paid. So that is how it is going on.
मैडम आप लोग ने नया प्रोडक्ट निकाला, बहुत अच्छी है, बधाई है, मगर किसी को मालूम नहीं है. कोई भी एजेंट को ट्रेनिंग, आपका सबसे पोरेस्ट पॉइंट जो है वो नॉन मोटर और हेल्थ छोड़ के किसी को प्रोडक्ट का ट्रेनिंग मालूम ही नहीं है, ना डिविजनल मैनेजर को मालूम है, ना आगे मालूम है. तो आई सजेस्टेड यू कि प्लीज पुट अप द मार्क रिमार्क के आपके ट्रेनिंग नॉन मोटर और हेल्थ मोटर और हेल्थ छोड़ के बाकी की ट्रेनिंग में आप इम्प्रूवमेंट
आई फुल्ली एग्री विथ यू कुमार सर. आई जस्ट टेक 2 minutes. आपको पता नहीं होगा देयर वाज अ प्रोडक्ट फॉर द
मैडम
वुमन.
वी डोंट नो वी आर अ लीडिंग एजेंट इन इंडिया. आई डोंट नो दिस टाइप ऑफ प्रोडक्ट.
हाँ, सी हम लोग
नो वन
29th
नोस
May
आवर डिवीजन. नो वन नोस.
29th May we had released this product and we had a briefing with all the RO in charges. ट्रेनिंग भी हम लोगों ने किया था. बट क्या होता है ना, जानकारी लेके लोग फिर चले जाते हैं, किसी को इन्फॉर्मेशन बांटते नहीं है. बट एनीवे आई जस्ट फील
मैडम
दैट
मैं
नो.
सजेशन देता हूँ, आपके पास तो सारे एजेंट की डेटा है. अभी नई सिस्टम क्या हुई है, सारे एजेंट को एक मेल जाना चाहिए कि ये प्रोडक्ट इंट्रोडक्शन किया है, प्लीज कांटेक्ट विद ब्रांच. तो ब्रांच वाले नहीं बताए ना तो फिर वहाँ से कनेक्ट हो जाता है.
सर हम लोगों को ना एक एजेंट्स कॉर्नर है इन आवर वेबसाइट विद ऑल द एजेंट्स कैन नो एक्सेस. तो हम लोग रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं एजेंट को कि आप थोड़ा
सर,
जाइए.
यही तो तकलीफ है मैडम. अभी रोज एजेंट कॉर्नर में जाएगा, काम करेगा.
नहीं, वो
आपको mail भेजना चाहिए.
ब्रोशर्स भी रहेगा उसके. ब्रोशर्स दे हैव मेड ब्रोशर्स व्हिच आर
सर,
ऑलरेडी
brochure की
देयर.
बात छोड़ो, मैं न्यू इंडिया का लीडिंग एजेंट हूँ. मेरे को प्रोडक्ट हो ही पता नहीं है. मैंने डिवीजन में
मैं
किसको भी
एक
पता
2
नहीं.
मिनट का बात करूंगी. एक प्रोडक्ट था हम लोगों का राज राजेश्वरी बोल के.
मैडम, ये
दैट
मेरा
वाज फॉर द
feedback है.
1 minute सर. दैट वाज फॉर द राज राजेश्वरी वाज फॉर द मैरिड वुमन एंड देयर वाज अ प्रोडक्ट फॉर भाग्यश्री व्हिच वाज फॉर द अनमैरिड चिल्ड्रन. So this was if their parents die or if any accident happens, then immediately the married woman would get a 25,000 rupees. The premium was only 15 rupees. The product did not sell. Why? Because the agents thought, I'm not sir, asking you anything, but the thing is that no, or also not, I'm contradicting the thing what you said that जानकारी नहीं है. ये जानकारी बहुत था sir. I know because I have been in this industry for 36 years. I joined in 89, so now almost 36 years I have been in this industry.
मैडम मैं भी
ये राज-
78 से
हाँ,
मैं भी
sir.
78 से
तो
हूँ.
ये राज राजेश्वरी और भाग्यश्री did not sell. Why? Because 15 rupees के ऊपर कमीशन होगा 1 rupee 50 पैसा. So the people thought कि why I should spend time in explaining this product to the people. Rather उस टाइम में एक हेल्थ पॉलिसी बेचूँ, एक मोटर पॉलिसी बेचूँ, तो 10,000 प्रीमियम में मेरा घर में immediately 1,500 रुपया आ जाएगा. So this is the attitude. So sir, the attitude is changing. People are becoming more and more knowledgeable. Competition is coming. So I'm sure this will put up. And sir, I take your suggestion also very positively. I will see to it that more and more people come to know. We are holding training sessions now, so I will definitely.
दूसरा एक फीडबैक देना चाहता हूँ. न्यू इंडिया इज डूइंग इन क्लेम इज वेरी वेल. Every experience is very well. That should be good appreciated.
Thanks so much. I think we've unless you want to add any concluding thought, we'll close with it.
I just wanted to thank you for wonderful insights, and I think these new products could be really game changers, and I think it'll be wonderful to see how they emerge in the market, the kind of receptivity, and of course, a lot of training. The other part is the ecosystem to ensure that the data points and data sets that we use get constantly refined so that we have more accurate penetration. But very encouraging to hear about these initiatives. So congratulations. Thank you very much.